Good evening. Добрый вечер. Мы начнем.
We are going to start our short discussion of our festival day. And as I understand, after there is the final festival closure, we'll try to discuss it in short. And I will give the microphone to everyone who is interested to talk. We've seen 3 performances today, and 2 of them are Estonian. Yes, Spy Girls and Diary of a Madman. And the last one is produced by the Child team. Free Roaming Mares. That's, yes, Free Roaming Mares. The first performance, the Estonian one, it was in Randa, not the product of Vabalava. The director of it is our good friend, a well-known Tajik director, who is a very good of Estonia. His name is Barjo Abdurajakov. The murder of the last Persian Emperor, it was the performance we know him for, and then he did, when he had 3 weeks left, he prepared the performance, The Diary of a Madman, and the jury nominated Krista, the main actor, nominated him as one of the top 5 best male actors last year in Estonia. He is a well-known actor, one of my favorite actors in Estonia. I watched the performance in Tallinn when they played it the second time. Kadi also saw it in Tallinn. We've seen it twice, so we'll ask Olga to start her feedback on it. And the story by Gogol is a well-known novel, and everybody knows about its interpretations. I've seen many performances by Barzo Abduraz Dahov, and in Kazakhstan including. He is a very prolific writer. I believe he is a very interesting person, a narrator, and but as a director, my relationship with him hasn't been that well so far. And I believe that his concept is quite pretentious, and the performance, The Diary of a Madman, I believe it is the same story. It's difficult to answer this question. What we can talk about if we discuss this play. It's a well-done work, and for me, maybe the development of the main character, the whole story, for me, it was not enough. In general, it's a story of becoming crazy from the very beginning. The main character, he was crazy, and the whole play is about this development of his mental state. And if we consider it within our modern context, if we talk about our performances, there is no discussion in The Diary of a Madman. It lacks it. By the way, I agree with Olga in the sense that yesterday when we discussed traditional and non-traditional new theater performances, this performance is very traditional one. It's a masterclass of acting, and Krista plays excellently what he was given to play and to act out, and to have a real big discussion and talks in Estonia. We haven't had it yet, so everyone praised his acting, and there was nothing else to go deeper. I also admire the energy of Krista for the period of 50 minutes. It was just demonstration of many different acting tools and approaches, and he was every minute different. and it was very passionate. But if we talk about some critical things, I can support your opinion. I can say that the text, such as The Diary of a Madman, if I read such texts, classic ones, I really want today to find more connections with our today life. For me, in that performance, the officer of that time, of Gogol's time, was present in it, but I really admired Christa's acting. The modern context was a bit lacking. So who would like to add to discuss this performance? If there are no willing to continue the discussion of this play, if we talk about the performance Spy Girls, and director is Magdas. So where is she, the director of it? It was the first time for me to see it when it was performed in Tallinn. My acquaintances, and for me they are quite authoritative ones, they did not recommend me to go there and to watch it. It's difficult to talk about in connection with theater art. If though I had that prejudice, I just was there to watch it, and I can say that the aim of the performance was achieved successfully. The work was done absolutely in a great way. I can imagine how difficult it was to stage it out in terms of its topic, in terms of the approaches to the interpretation of the topic, and to find real contacts with real military men from the opposite side, and all technical devices used in that performance. I understand that for you it was a very difficult and tough work, but at the same time, when you were preparing and performing, it was real fun for you. I can be even jealous of this process. But when we talk about the actors, their names, they are Estonian actors, their names are anonymous and they are covered with masks, and their performance was absolutely great, and for them it was also kind of an entertainment. The only criticism is that it was rather long, and all parts of it, they didn't go together, but all parts separately, they were just real great for enjoyment and fun. And of course, you gave us an example, and they gave an example to theater audience, how theater and actors can help in such difficult situations the army forces, especially in the situation like we are now in. And also I understood and can congratulate the company Vabalava that the performances, it was just rightly for an international drama festival, and I believe that international audience, if for them it's a novice experience, this kind of theater performances with this technical level, for them it's definitely something different. I understand that for the Estonian art drama theater audience, it's difficult to accept it. I would like to express my admiration with your work with the original text. For you, it's an amazing source of documents and materials, so you have to find a way how to approach it and how to use it in your work, and how you create your own text out of all these original texts. What we saw already in the Israel performance, it's a special movement to reflect upon the tragic of the present event, and to use humor in order to consider it and to approach it. I cannot say that which way of reflection is more efficient or not, but in general it works. It really works, and it works in a good way. And I'm genuinely interested in the final scene, how it could have been, and I believe that how it was in reality. I hope it's not the imitation of the calls of the personas and actors outside. It's interesting to know how it could have been if the call could have taken place. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it today. Otherwise, the whole story could have been even deeper and more tragic in comparison comparison with what we actually saw. And one more thing to add, that in my context, I have this unity with the previous performance we had watched. And what we discussed before, we talked about this body power when we talked about weightlessness and the thick notebooks, so dick pic episode which you have in your performance, and the same in the when we saw the body in free roaming mess, when the body becomes not an instrument but a document. I believe that in modern theater, this work with the body and its power is really interesting. Kadi, you please. I have the same story Jaak shared with you. I also read about Estonian criticism of the play, and I didn't watch it in Tallinn. And I was today surprised why this performance, this play in Estonia at the beginning was understood by critics that way. The critics who wrote about it, they wrote that it could have been better to write an article, but not to create a theater performance. I don't know anything about intelligence service work, and for me it was interesting to just to look at this world. But on the other hand, the actors who performed, they were absolutely great. Of course, this performance, this play is for festivals, and I could see that most probably the actors and their previous festivals where they performed, and this festival experience has influenced them in such a way that they could communicate with the audience in a very productive way. They could sense it out, how the audience felt, and they reacted accordingly. I was very happy that I had a chance to see it thanks to the festival. And by the way, I would like to ask you regarding this final call at the end of the play. As I had heard, sometimes the call works, sometimes it doesn't. Does it mean that even today, is it all acting, or it is a continuation of your real life calls with those military officers? Before I give you the microphone to the director, my question is, how much of it is the input of the actors, and how much of it is your director's input in the story? And it seems that the locale of the play was the International Cyber Civil Agency place in Tallinn, and according to the play text, they were all Estonians. Am I right? So please, your answers to these questions.
The first question is about how do performers contributed to the final result of the performance. Yes?
It was the first.
No, there was a question about the call. This is the crucial moment of this performance because there is when theater is a place of the experiment, and here the experiment that is taken is that the experiment with putting the deep faked face on the face of the actress, what in the context of the theater for me is also something quite philosophical in terms of the history of the theater. First, performers used to use some kind of mask, and the deep faked face of the actor can be also kind of the mask, and opens a lot of unpredictable possibilities for performing arts. So this moment is crucial for many points. And today we experienced some sound difficulties. That's why we were 30 minutes late, because we found out just before the show that if we're gonna call someone, he won't be able to hear us. So this is what we tried to fix. We did not manage to fix it. When we started the show, I already knew that whoever gonna pick up the call, he won't hear our voice. But we decided to go anyway with that scene because they can see the image, and we could see the image. But the goal of this is to prove or that this kind of connection is possible, but without first, I didn't hope that these conversations would last long, because I thought that after 10 seconds, 5 seconds, they're gonna definitely see that there is something wrong. I wanted to experiment and to see how long for the perception of someone it takes to realize that this is the deep fake. And it's always a little bit different, but the longest conversations we managed to have were like 4 minutes, and they were ended by us, not by them. And then they wanted us to, when they asked us when do we call again, when will we talk again. And I'm pretty sure that when I was sitting here and watching the final show from Chile, they were calling us back, because it always works this way. Then when they can answer, I should actually be there and take care of those conversations, but we were not doing it. So all of this is for me also important, because we do it live, and the results may differ anytime. There were successful calls, there were sometimes performances when nobody answered, but I don't want to fake it, because I feel that this is the moment when everyone somehow engages, and people know that the stakes are high and we don't know what will happen next. And this is something that I feel that brings people to the state of like being interested and active, even if they are I don't know, they don't understand, or they were bored before or something. So that's why I want to keep this always alive and real. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, those accounts live all the time, basically. You have to keep those contacts throughout the period when you are not playing.
Usually we start to talk with someone like 2 days before, 1 day before, the latest during the same day we perform, but some contacts are going on since we started talking. So it's like ongoing process. Yeah, so the second question was about the performers. Yes?
How many improvisation and what's your?
What is the script of this play comes from documentation of this rehearsing process. So I recorded everything, and then I picked up parts that I feel represent the best how this whole process may be told, because we gathered a lot of material, and later I had to find a way how to structure this, but most of this material were gathered by actors themselves, because I was doing similar things before. I decided to try to pass what I've learned to the performers and see how all of this can work, if that kind of experiment will bring any knowledge or something new.
Thank you. Кто хочет дать?
Who else wants to give feedback on it, on this performance? Please.
Hello, I'm Arle. I work as a teacher here in Narva. I was wondering how you actually put together the group of people you chose to make this play with. I mean, since it's a bit of a mystery, like how did you even come by these people?
I knew how the process will look like from the very beginning, that I need people who can agree on this kind of experiment, which was introduced more or less about becoming online spy as an actor to find out how an actor can be useful during war. So thanks to Vabalava team, I was recommended several people whom I met, and that was kind of a casting, because from the very beginning I had to be honest that it won't be like traditional acting and rehearsing process only, but what I'm trying to do is to see if what we do on stage can be the continuation of anarchist online volunteering activist work that is done up there, and if we can focus on this one problem with dating apps, because anyway this can be also not only interpreted in the context of this war, which is the most strong context, but for me it is also interesting how do people scam other people online. And at that time I was also looking for that, and there are so many interesting things you can come up to. So I think in the end the message from the show might be also about how we should not trust anyone ever into anything online.
See ei tööta, eks? I heard that some actors refused to play in this show by ethic reasons. Is it true?
Why?
I heard that some actors refused to play in your show by more ethic reasons. Is it true?
No.
No.
Those who were in the process from the beginning, they stayed till the end. So it was not situation like that, but maybe that's a good gossip to make people talk about something.
Кто хочет продолжать?
Who would like to continue? I cannot see.
И теперь последний.
And now the last performance from Child. It's very surprising that previous festivals and this festival was concluded with the performance by a Child theatre. I don't remember the name of the performance 2 years ago, but I remember that it was written somewhere in the media that it was nominated as one of the best 10 plays in New York last year. Now today we could see another Child play made by from Child team, so I would like to ask our ladies to start our discussion. In this play, it's very interesting for me to understand how different kinds of genres and kinds of plays may be united. It's a very powerful documentary, but on the other hand, it's a play on civic theater, and we can say it is an inclusive theater because it's a very simple acting, which is very close to TV shows. We have watched actually a very bright TV series with bright performers, but behind it, as a background, we can see excellent theatrical approaches, and there is a text which at the end, in the final, we can hear in the form of an interview of real people who participated in the event, which was described in this artistic way. And I would like to repeat one more time that how interesting in this theater the body can be used as not a provocational or manipulation item, but as a object of documents, of texts, of serious thoughts. The bodies we watched on this scene, they create a certain layer of narration, of history, and it seems to me that the most interesting part of it regarding inclusive theater that people's lives and destinies expressed through their bodies, this is an exciting moment of expression. I have one question which I would like to ask. As far as I understand, this is a documentary-based story about a meeting, protests, about demonstrations of non-traditional group of people, and in the 1970s, and there were words that the demonstration was suppressed by planes and tanks. Transgenders, are there that many, and were there that many at that time, to have the whole army forces to suppress them? Are there any people from the team to answer this question?
The designer from the play, and next to me is Ernesto Orellana, the director and writer of the plays also. And can you repeat the question very shortly?
Я слышал в тексте,
I heard that there were planes and tanks to suppress.
Is the months before the beginning of the dictator of Augusto Pinochet, was this group of little young poor people that work as prostitutes in the main square of Santiago de Chile. They protesting because the police was very aggressive against them. So they're very innocent people, very young people, very poor people. They live in the square. So they live under the Orfeon, we call, when the police play music. They live there, they work with the gardeners, we're friends with the prostitute, they go to the church, ask for food, and all these events are documentary. We found documents in the archives, we found pictures of the press of the time, very aggressive press from the time. They talk about kill the people, they put on fire, all together in the square, but so a very aggressive press. But these people want to make a protest, and the archive of the Chile is considered like the first manifestation the LGTB people in our country. They still live together. You can see at the end of the play. We work with them. We are friends of them. And also Lola, our main character, played by Lola Quesada, who is here next to me, is also activist. Ernesto Orellana is also activist in Santiago de Chile. And yeah, everything that you see in the play is true. It's based on true facts.
Thank you very much for this answer. И я действительно, я очень рад, что
I'm very happy. I admire that you have invited this performance to explain the history and the events of Chile and how police worked after Allende and the dictatorship there. Does anyone want to share his or her opinion regarding this performance? I'm sorry, I'm very, very nervous about it. Please introduce yourself. My name is Vladimir. I'm very thankful to the team for this performance. I was just crying. I had to go and to take some fresh air because it's not just an invented story, it's a real story. And my friend, I would like to say, is that my friend from St. Petersburg, who is wearing a dress, but she is under illegal therapy, and she has sent a video how she was beaten, and there are so many people, transgenders, who are under pressure. As my accent, as I and my friends, you know that in Russia, LGBT plus community, they are forbidden, and I'm very happy for Latin America, but I'm not happy for what is happening just next to us in Russia. But for me, the main idea here is that identity, it's a question of your internal consciousness and violence regarding the change of your internal identity. It's violence in any case, and when we talk about Estonian policy, it is a different kind of violence. It's about yes, when it is violence using even the tongue. So no violence and freedom to people. Thank you very much for this critical comment regarding Estonia. I'm not sure whether guests know about it, but maybe you know that Estonia I would like to say, to ask if people, guests know that Estonia is the first country of Eastern Europe where by law, yes, one-gender marriages are allowed by law. Who would like to continue? If no, then I would like to conclude our 4-day discussion of theatrical performances. Thank you. I haven't heard about it, and Kadi hasn't followed the whole play. Maybe people want to talk about Mavka. Ola, maybe you've seen the whole one. Maybe you will add a few words about the play Mavka. Maybe there are some people who would like to talk about the play Mavka, this reading out of it. Yes, please. Andrei Makarovich, the University of Tartu. I think that it was a very important of this festival, a very important part of this festival, not only because it relates to the war in Ukraine topic, but first of all because it tries to consider what is there inside the black box of the occupied Europe, which Europe hasn't seen anything like this for many years. And this black box is just next to us. And I have my question is to Irina, who wrote text for this play, who is the author. I'm interested in some aspects, because the discourse which we could see, it's a bit generalized, commonalized, but is it possible in some way to see, or maybe via narrative types or discourses, the difference between Mariupol, which was occupied in 2022, in Crimea, which has lived for more than 10 years under the Russian occupation? And more question about Kherson. Is there anyone in Ukraine who has already studied the concept of de-occupation? So there were people under outer occupation, then they were returned to Ukraine. Is there anyone, or has there been anyone who considered such differences between different areas? Thank you very much for the question. I would like to start that I am not, I do not agree 100% with what you said, that for many years we haven't been in a situation to be very close to that black box of occupation. This is the question about, not actually about occupation as such, but about the power. For example, when this play was written, I understood better why, for example, the power of Putin is there, and there are no uprisings, and there are no people. There are more than 100 million people. Why is it so that they accept this new power, and it means that they are all like this? They don't want to do anything against it. And we can see these different attitudes regarding the occupation thing and the locals, in comparison with the people who occupied, they are bigger in number, but you're in a situation when you cannot find people who are of the same opinion as you are. Maybe they're the same people of the same opinion who are in the same street, but you don't have any chance to find people who think the same, so you don't know who are in your way of thinking and who are different. That is why where occupation areas are, there are no revolts and there are no anti-Putin uprisings, and that is the reason why, because people don't know who with who is. The same is about the occupation of Czechoslovakia and all other kinds of occupations, because these are conditions when you're afraid of everyone. You don't know where are you and others. You don't know who will report on you. And that you live in such a condition, it doesn't mean that you agree with everything and you accept it, or that everyone agrees. It's absolutely different. But this total frightening and this total and everywhere danger, people make it makes people be afraid of it. This is the reality, and unfortunately, it seems to me that after the war, in many communities there will be this comparable experience, even without the period of occupation, even without the cases where military forces are introduced. Unfortunately, this experience for many of us is well known, and it refers at the same time the life in the Soviet Union, when there was no occupation as such officially, but you're in a condition of double thinking, where you have to say one thing when you are in public. At home you say, or you have a chance with your people who you trust and love, you can say something else, but when you are with your own self, you have something to say to yourself. You are wearing masks all the time. It's all our experience for many years. But talking about such studies you've mentioned, as far as I know, in our case, it hasn't been studied well, because the war is still going on, and the situation is changing all the time. And in fact, we don't have, we are just losing new villages, places, where situations when one place has been occupied and then it was freed. Such cases are fewer in number. Usually it is quite opposite. It's like this: we have our village or city, and then we lose it. And this is how it is happening now. And to understand what is going on there, because people there are afraid, are scared, as I have already said. They are afraid to talk about it. They don't know where they are with their people or with other people, and when they see you talking to them, they think that you are from KGB or FSB, and they think that this writing a documentary, a play, it's a legend, and she's from the Russian and I'm from the Russian intelligence service, and they think that my aim was to get some information from them, and they had their right to think about it. That's why to study it, it's very difficult. Thank you very much for this explanation, and I would like to remind you that even today, according to social observations and surveys, which we cannot trust 100%, of course, 15% of people who live in Russia, it's about 30 million people, they do not approve Putin's aggression. And of course, after after Afghanistan, of course, Brezhnev was still there. Nobody did anything against him. I would like to say that in general, when we talk about just reading of plays as a part of the festival, thank you very much that we have such events. I have this feeling that playwrights, they react better to the real life than directors. Maybe my suggestion is to have more slots for reading plays. That's it. I would like to thank my colleagues Olga and Kadi for their ideas shared with me for these 4 years. And on behalf of all of you, I think I have to thank all organizers of this festival and for its place. And thank you very much. And not only the fourth one, but to continue with them. When we have these festivals near to us, yes, here, we have, if we have it, we have the question of freedom with us. Thank you. And the very last words, the festival has finished. We are looking at you, and I hope that you will think about it more. And yes, we have to continue. Yes, and we have to work. Yes, thank you very much. As I said at the beginning, 2 years ago, we did a lot to continue with this festival and to have this very corner of our freedom and to talk about freedom and believe that this is one of the best festivals in the world. And we may in the future have a better choice. And if we get your feedback to continue how to make our festival to live longer in a better way. So your opinion are important. Thank you very much for the team of Abalava for this help, for the organization of it. Lisa, please, Katarina, Krista, all of you, please come here. This is a place for us to take a picture.
Artemi, Sergei, Ülle, Mari-Riin, kes veel puudu on? Tšau! Muidugi tehniline meeskond tegeleb oma tehnilise tööga. Mul on продолжать заниматься своей технической работой. Они до сих пор в зале. Aitäh kõigile.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Tänan kõiki.
Thank you.
We prepared very hard for this edition. Really, it was an interesting journey, and see you next time in 2027.